have happened. If you're not with them, it's either you're dead or you're in prison. This government, you're going to change, big man. Fish to our fianya pa kumika office. Fish to our fianya. Why me? Missing. Achani ruba mwacho and dishonor. Where is why me? Change, tell us with your government, where is why me? Give us why me. Justice for why me, big man. Wachila mo church. Wala tupwisha bega kutupwisha wakamba. Tatwale Kopulande big man. My youth. Maana watata. Sabia tuwasevana. Wakamba. Mwanesa tuwapweni. Mujala chetu. Icha Zambia. Tuamona mwempwa. Tuamona mwempwa. Nama abductions bagamba. Owo muteko toaleta. Watulete lama. Amazala mush. No you can take. Kola ipompa tudeka. No you can take. Apa nomba bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakuvota bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakufuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakufuatika fuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. When you die kwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Aikona man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Ika kwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Yakuliati kwenyu. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mayona batata. Mayona batata. Bayuthi. Tentwisuli amenso. Batusendela nomba batwipaila na hope Yesu. Endika chagwa lungu watubela tinani mkwatila plan D. Nomba tuwadishiba plan D aba mmino ya kualesa. Bantu banga abalafu mucharo chesu cha Zambia. Nibanga abantu abala abducted mucharo chesu cha Zambia. Bambire kuli jeje banda. Nibanga abantu abala ba prison. Abena chitotela chilangwa. Wonse baba prison netunguru shina shimbi. Muri one government ya kwa church. Abantu naba famweleza. Aikata nomba baikata na kuyetika chakwa lungu atukwatile plan D. Apa kubo vya mufulo big man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Bila batsendela yetika chakwa. Apa nomba bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakuvota bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakufuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakufuatika fuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. When you die kwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Aikona man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Ida ya kwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Yakuliati kwenyu. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. HH does not mean well for Mother Zambia. Zambia to Asebana, this is not the Mother Zambia that we were left with by our ancestors, our forefathers who fought so hard to liberate us. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Nalumino Mundia.
Thursday, 9th October 2025. Welcome to today's Emmanuel Mwamba Verified. Today we are privileged to host a renowned leader in our country, Dr. Sebastian Kopulande. Remember, I was on this platform just a few weeks ago, but there's been development which has prompted us that we bring him back, and then we want to speak extensively about his proposed solutions for this country and his collaboration with the opposition. We had done a preliminary introductory program with him, but today we delve into the details, and we'll be doing that with many candidates that we've lined up to come. Let me bring Dr. Kopulande on the program and invite him to greet you. Then we delve into the matter. But let's just go for a brief commercial break. Lelo bwacha bakamba mukyalo kyesu kya Zambia kyaweka enjoy.
abantu bafa bakamba kule kumumfumbwe. More than 20 people balebe patini babiri. Bagamba.
Thank you very much. Let me bring Dr. Sebastian Kopulande. Sir, glad that you are back. You featured on our program just a few weeks ago. But there is some development. How are you and how are you doing?
Your Excellency, Ambassador Mwamba and EMV, it's such a wonder to get back here. It's such a great privilege. It's a great honor for me to be accorded yet another opportunity to speak to you and speak to our people in Zambia.
The opportunity is well deserved, Dr. Sebastian Kopulande. When you were last on this podcast, you received warm reception from our people. And I think that we had left a few things hanging. We couldn't delve into a lot of details because there were developments you were waiting for. Let's start with that. Where are we with you and your political aspirations and the possible vehicle that you will be working with the opposition and with the nation?
Ambassador, the nature of this subject is such that it deserves a written statement. Allow me to read.
That's okay.
Good evening, my fellow Zambians, both at home and abroad. I wish to thank profusely Emmanuel Mwamba and the producers of this program for giving me yet another opportunity to speak to you directly tonight. From my heart to yours, as a son of this land who has walked with you through Zambia's triumphs and trials. My name is Sebastian Kopulande, and tonight I stand before you not as a politician seeking power, but called to restore hope, unity and dignity to our beloved nation. I am here to make a solemn announcement. I am offering myself to serve as President of the Republic of Zambia in the 2026 general elections under the People's Party. I make this declaration after deep reflection, prayer, and consultation with my family, elders, including traditional leaders, church leaders, and fellow citizens across our great nation. I have spent over 3 decades working in both the public and private sectors, in government, in business, and in development across Africa as a consultant to the African Union. I have seen firsthand how capable Zambians are when given an opportunity, how hardworking our youth are when given a chance, and how determined our women are when empowered. But I've also seen the pain of our people, the jobless graduate, the struggling farmer, the suffering mother, and the elderly retiree forgotten by the very system that they saved. These are not statistics. These are our brothers, our sisters, and indeed our neighbors. Zambia today is at a tipping point, a very dangerous point indeed in several areas. We were once called the Switzerland of Africa, a nation of peace, potential, and promise. But today, poverty has deepened. Prices have soared. The cost of living has gone through the roof. Businesses are collapsing mostly for lack of capital and for lack of electricity. Farmers can't find fertilizer, and when they do, it is in meadows. And youths roam the streets because they can't find jobs. Our people are losing faith, not only in government, but in the very idea that Zambia can rise again. Our governance has become a theater of rhetoric, corruption, and arrogance. Those in power seem to have forgotten the meaning of service. As the Bible teaches, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people mourn. And indeed, our people are mourning today. Mourning lost opportunity, lost dignity, lost democratic rights and freedoms, and mourning for lost hope. But I come tonight with a message of hope, a message of renewal, that Zambia can and shall rise again. We shall reclaim our pride, rebuild our economy, and restore justice and prosperity for all. The People's Party, on whom I'm intending to stand, is not just another political organization. It is a movement of ordinaries who believe that our destiny must be reclaimed by the people themselves. It is the People's Party. It is your party. Our motto is, we are one. And under that banner, we shall unite across tribe, religion, and region to build the foundations of our republic. Fellow Zambians, our plan is simple but bold. It is built on 3 pillars. Pillar 1, economic liberation and empowerment. We shall create an economy that works for the many, not for the few. We will achieve economic sovereignty and make our resources work for our people. We will empower our farmers, artisans, miners, entrepreneurs, and innovators through access to finance, markets, skills, and technology. We will industrialize Zambia across all the provinces, adding value to what we produce instead of exporting raw materials. Every province will host a youth farm block, industrial parks, and innovation hubs to create jobs and wealth locally. Good governance and integrity. A government that saves, not steals from its people. Corruption will have no place in administration. We will restore merit in public service and rebuild institutions of accountability. Every collected will be used for the people's benefits, not for political enrichment. Pillar 3, unity, peace, and social justice. We will end the politics of division and vengeance. We will bring Zambians together, regardless of political party, tribe, or province. Because national progress is not built on hate, but on shared purpose. We will uplift our teachers, health workers, retirees, and men and women in uniform. We will use the police not to oppress our people, but to protect them. We will ensure the independence of all 3 arms of government and leave all institutions of governance to operate freely in accordance with their mandate. My brothers and sisters, fellow Zambians, Zambia is not poor. We are just simply poorly managed. We cannot be proud to be ranked 60th country in the world. Gold, copper, cobalt, manganese, gemstones, fertile land, abundant water, and intelligent young people ready to work. What we lack is leadership that loves this country and it loves power. And that is the leadership I seek to bring. A leadership of service, not status. Of humility, not arrogance. Of unity, not division. I have learned over the years, through my service in the public service, I've learned over the years, through my work with former presidents, may those rest in peace, I have learned that power is for the people, and that power belongs to the people, and that power must be used for the benefit of the people. Hence, fellow Zambians, there is hope for a better tomorrow. No night is so dark that it never ends. The night we are in will pass, but only and only if we stand together. To our youth, you are not leaders of tomorrow, you are leaders of today. To our mothers and women, you are the backbone of our economy, our society, and you will be at the center of our transformation. To our retirees and citizens, we will restore your dignity and benefit from your experience. To our civil servants, teachers, nurses, help is on the way. Liberation from your over-indebtedness is on the way. Zambia needs healing. Zambia needs hope. Zambia does not need an arrogant leadership, but it needs a leadership that listens. Zambia does not need a leadership that promises. It needs a leadership that delivers, and delivery is what characterizes my record in the public service. So tonight, fellow Zambians, before God and before you, I make this solemn commitment. I will run for president, not to divide, but to unite. Not to enrich myself, but to uplift every Zambian. Not to seek power, but to restore power back to the people. Our journey begins tonight. From this studio to every village, every compound, every district, and every province. We will go to the people because the future of Zambia will be decided by the people, not by the elite. Together, we shall rebuild our nation. A Zambia that works, a Zambia that feeds itself, a Zambia that is sovereign, a Zambia that believes again. This is our time. This is our moment. This is our day. May God bless you, and may God bless the Republic of Zambia. I thank you.
Thank you. What a solemn declaration and powerful words there, Dr. Sebastian Kopulande. We profiled you. You've been Member of Parliament for Chembe. You are president of an association that has been coordinating trade between Zambia and China. You are an illustrious businessman. You have carried out charity and community work, especially for girls, where you were involved, I think, in ensuring that there's dignity to the girls, especially during their monthly cycles. We profiled you very well. And I'd said there's been a development, and the development is this party, People's Party. Which is this People's Party? Is it a new party? Is it an old party? It rings a bell. Is this a party that was led by one of our illustrious sons? I'll leave you to tell us those developments.
Yes, thank you, Ambassador. Yes, this party has been in existence since 2013. It was established, registered on 12th February 2013. So it has been around for quite a while. Unfortunately, the founder of the party, Honorable Mike Mulongoti, his colleague, the late Mr. Christopher Lungobwale, passed away. Honorable Mulongoti passed away in 2019, and Mr. Lungo passed away just before elections in 2021, and we buried him actually a day after voting in August 2021. So it's a party that has been in existence but has not been active politically. We're reviving it and we're getting it to work so that the people can have that which a party that is theirs, a people's party. And this, I think, is what our nation requires.
Indeed, indeed. So you are the new leader of the People's Party. You are leading the party, and you've clearly stated that your members have tasked you to pursue this leadership and probably even stand for president, as you've clearly demonstrated. But there are issues in between. Your role with the opposition, and what is the agenda? Why do you think you need to stand? What ideas do you bring? Are they transformational? Let's start with that. What does your manifesto say? Please walk us through.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Our manifesto is one that challenges the establishment. Our manifesto is one that brings fresh hope, fresh air to the Zambian people. Our manifesto is focused on ensuring that there is full economic sovereignty to the people of Zambia. Our manifesto focuses on restoring ownership of our natural resources to the people of Zambia. Our ideology is Ubuntu, which means I am because we are. We are guided by this African philosophy of shared humanity, compassion, empathy, collaboration, and dignity. Therefore, in government, the Ubuntu principles will guide our policy making. It means we will be guided by the pursuit for inclusive economic growth, will be guided by pursuit for equity in service delivery, sustainable people-led governance, a strong community, national unity, and nationality. Our leadership approach will be driven by inclusivity, where every Zambian will play a role. Our philosophy, our guiding principles, make it very clear that governance, leadership of a nation is for the purpose of serving the people. It is for the purpose of creating a difference in the lives of the people. It is not for the purpose of one's enrichment or a purpose of loading it over the citizens. We want to see a government that listens, a government that does not only promise with us. That is what we've come to do. Our first and topmost priority is to deal with the two elephants in the room at present. Firstly, the high cost of living. And secondly, the high levels of poverty. The high cost of living in Zambia today has been caused by a number of policy miscalculations. The removal of subsidies on essential goods like maize, mealie meal, subsidies on fertilizer, subsidies on fuel were removed. The opacity in the fuel industry, where fuel imports are being undertaken without knowing who is doing what, with a single individual company using a state facility That has raised the cost of fuel, and as you know, the cost of fuel, it affects the cost of everything else. Our poverty has been caused, our high cost of living has been caused by the preference by the government to export electricity instead of taking care of the needs of Zambian industry and families. This has led to an unprecedented levels of load shedding and unstable energy supply. This has caused the shutting down of several small and medium enterprises. It has raised production costs because now, in order to produce, you have to install either solar energy, which is so expensive, or you have to buy a generator whose input fuel has gone through the roof, the cost. We were told last year that we were introducing emergency electricity tariffs so that we can enable ZESCO to import power to meet our needs. And those prices were going to last for 3 months. It's 1 year. The same tariffs are applicable today, 1 year later. The cost of living has risen because of the depreciation of water, which has made imports, including food, medicines, fuel, even more expensive. And you know we are an import-dependent country. And once the exchange rate, once the kwacha depreciates, the implications of that. We have had higher taxes imposed on simple public services. Even simple private services such as mobile money. The Minister of Finance was announcing the budget the other day, where they have almost doubled the levy. They have doubled the levy on mobile money. And yet they have given more funds in social cash transfers. Now, these social cash transfers mostly use mobile money services. And the Zambian people share the money using mobile money. But they have taxed. They have doubled the taxes, the levies, mobile money transfers. Give with one hand and take away with the other. Ambassador, our investment in manufacturing and local industries has been poor. And this has led to overdependency, expensive imports, and with a weak currency, we have a problem. We have a problem. Nonetheless, like I said in my statement, there is hope. Because when we do come, we are going to deal with the high cost of living as a priority. We will restore targeted subsidies and reintroduce well-meant subsidies on mirimi, on fertilizer, and we will lower household expenses immediately by lowering the cost of electricity. We shall reduce fuel prices, stabilize and reduce these costs by renegotiating import contracts and cancelling corruptly awarded contracts, hence promote local fuel blending. We will stabilize the kwacha and implement emergency fiscal discipline measures which will halt the depreciation of the kwacha. We, as a matter of urgency, stop corruption, which is a contributor to the cost of government services, hence raising the cost of living. We intend to undertake sustainable economic stabilization measures within the period of 2 years. And by this, we are going to establish sector-focused development banks to support SME, to support Zambian involvement in mining, in agriculture. We shall establish an import-export bank to support export processing for our people to meet export contracts on time. We will embark on agricultural transformation by investing heavily in farm mechanization, in irrigation and rural infrastructure, as well as support to small-scale farmers to ensure year-round farming and secure food sovereignty. We shall launch provincial youth farm blocks. This will create youth employment and raise food production. The idea of this is that we are going to work with traditional rulers to identify land in each province where we are going to set up farm blocks for the youth, allocate them at least 2.5 hectares each to produce. We bring equipment, tractors to till the land. Of the first 3 years, we shall support the youth farmers, and after that, we'll leave them because we'll have prepared them to stand on their own. The result of this will be higher employment opportunities for the youth. It will be increased food production. It will open up opportunities for the youth to explore.
Thank you, Honorable Sebastian Kopulande. Usually, when you begin to bring solutions, first they accuse the opposition that the opposition do not discuss solutions, and I'm glad that you are making a good foundation discussing solutions. But when you begin to make the solutions, they accuse the opposition of just declaring mere wish list. I say this because the UPND boast that they are resolving the crisis of the country. They've done debt reschedule, that they've deployed CDF to every constituency and district up to a tune of 40 million. They claim that they've brought peace. They claim that, look, there's now a trajectory of economic growth 5 to 6%. But looking and hearing you make your initial declaratory remarks, you put the country in a huge crisis, national crisis, requiring immediate redemption. But the UPND say, like in their budget speech by the minister, say the country is on a trajectory of success. How do you contrast these two confusing realities? What is the state of our country as you begin to speak to the solutions?
Ambassador, the state of our country is deplorable. It is difficult anymore to go out of the country and walk with your head high, proudly say, I am Zambian. Why? 60% of our population is classified as poor and live below the national poverty line. That is a total of 12 million people out of 20 live below the poverty line. We have cases of extreme poverty where 48% of the population cannot meet basic food needs. Levels in the rural areas stand at almost 80%, 78.8% to be specific. 78.8% of rural households are poor. Hence, our intervention, our economic intervention, is focused on the province, in the rural areas. In the urban areas, 32% of our are poor. 64% of Zambians live on less than $2 a day. We have multidimensional poverty where nearly 48% are deprived of health, education, housing, electricity, and access to water. 31% of Zambian population is undernourished. 1 in 3 children under 5 is stunted due to malnutrition. Ambassador, this is very serious economic contradiction. With our mineral wealth that we boast about, and we are only using this mineral wealth to enrich corporations, whilst citizens remain poor. Even the 10% export tax that was put on export of unprocessed copper concentrates have been removed so that the nationals can make more money while our people wallow in extreme poverty. This is the scenario. This is the scenario. And the People's Party response to these very sad situation is to take a wealth creation strategy as a tool to fight the poverty. We are not going to go in through what is called poverty reduction. No, we are taking the other route to create wealth. We will fight rural poverty by establishing youth farm blocks in every province, equipped with irrigation, storage facilities, power, schools, clinics. We are going to promote agricultural mechanization and irrigation for increased productivity and climate resilience. Vamwamba, we cannot today, at this time in the development of humanity, be doing our agriculture with Kambwiri, Akalukasu, Eho. No, we're going to mechanize agriculture. And why are we going to do it? So that we can cover more hectares in productivity. We are going to introduce an input for results e-vouchers that reward farmers with next season based on produce that they deliver. So we'll give a subvention at the beginning of the season. When the farmer has produced, he will bring back to the agency that will be mandated with the responsibility to do that. And by the way, we are going to remove the Food Reserve Agency from agricultural marketing. They have to concentrate on their key responsibility, for which they were established. They were not established to agricultural marketing. We are going to establish another agency to do agricultural marketing, to provide the inputs to the farmers, and to collect the produce and market the produce both within the country and outside the country. Ambassador, the Zambian economy as it is today is a laugh. And you can tell me that the Zambian economy will grow by 6.4% from where?
Well,
From where?
well, Doc.
So what we are going to do?
Doc, your elder
Yes.
brother, Honorable Stumbeko Msokotwane, says he's dealing with debt, foreign and local. He says the exchange rate has now stabilized. He says he's posting economic growth of up to 5-6%. He says, our life expectancy has jumped from 49 now to, is it 67 years? Zambians are now living up to the age of 67. Very, very unique numbers. Do you have credibility in these numbers that they are posting? Are they posting them for purposes of elections? Is there a total, first of all, is there this huge discrepancy and total disregard of the total reality of what our people are facing?
Ambassador, what is interesting is that, you see, when they produce these growth statistics, they are quoting Bloomberg. They are quoting Bloomberg. They are not quoting their local internal official source of statistics, which is the Zambia Statistics Agency. They are quoting Bloomberg. Now, does Bloomberg know that our people only have access to electricity for 5 hours a day? Does Bloomberg know that? Does Bloomberg know that all our electricity is being exported? Does Bloomberg know that up to date, some farmers that supplied food to maize to FRA have not been paid? The only credible data that I would want to look at is data that will be produced by the official government statistics agency. It is not data produced by somebody that wants to blow your ego and you end up forgetting the sufferings of your people because they make you feel good, so you start beating your chest, I am the greatest, when your people are suffering. If the economy is growing at that rate, how come poverty levels are so high? How come 64% of the population is below the poverty datum line? How come we are the 6th poorest country in the world? How come we are the 4th most unequal country, meaning the gap between the rich and the poor is so wide? It's so wide to the tune of 57 on the Gini coefficient. Really, my brother, needs to be a little more honest with this. But we have a solution. We have a solution on how to grow the economy. We have a solution on how to grow the economy, my brother. We will fix this economy because we believe that the key question for Zambia's economic development that we must start with addressing is one of economic sovereignty, or the extent to which our natural resources benefit our people. We must address that. we must ask to what extent has the entire economic structure in Zambia been designed to benefit the citizens of Zambia? For many years, we have failed to answer these questions decisively and comprehensively since independence. I must acknowledge that the post-independence government tried. They established industries in all provinces. We came with privatization. All these were closed. The failures in the Zambian economy, my brother ambassador, arises from an economic structure that has made it impossible for citizens to have access to capital, to have access to adequate skills. It has made it impossible for our people to have access to markets, both local and foreign, to have access to appropriate infrastructure, and to have access to technology for increased productivity. We are still using Stone Age technology in our businesses. My brother, the blood of any economy is finance. We have a situation where our current financial sector is dominated by short-term commercial banks. Not even one development bank exists in the country. And you are telling me about economic growth. These commercial banks, 15 of them, all of them headquartered in Lusaka and on Copperbelt,
Bakalamba,
can only lend you up to 15.
that point you've just raised is very fundamental. The central bank has closed the Development Bank of Zambia with no reprieve, no hope for recovery, and no hope of establishing an alternative development bank. Just speak to the importance of development bank and why a country needs a development bank. It appears our economists are not bothering because it's now 2 years on without a development bank.
Ambassador, the lack of a development bank promises economic stagnation or economic regression. No question about that. Because commercial banks, 15 of them, can only lend you maximum 12 months. Now, can you borrow, Ambassador, money from a bank to invest in a green project in the mining sector and be able to pay back your loan in 12 months? Is this not why Zambians keep being kept away from the one economic sector which is the dominant sector and controls 80% of our foreign exchange earnings? Because we do not have access to capital. This is why, my brother ambassador, we in the People's Party are proposing that we are going to develop sector-specific financial institutions, development banks. Let me call them out. Let me list them. One, the National Development Bank. The National Development Bank will provide finance to all long-term investment projects across the board from any sector. Secondly, we are going to establish an SME development bank. This is the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Bank. We shall do this by transforming NatSave into an SME development. Because one, it's owned by government. Two, its presence is across all the districts. It has the best infrastructure already on the ground. We shall convert it by heavy recapitalization to be the bank that will finance SME business. We are going to establish the Export-Import Bank, okay, which will provide trade finance to boost exports under the African Continental Free Trade Area. We are going to establish the Agricultural Development Bank to support investment in agriculture. We are going to establish a mining development bank that will enable citizens to access something. I was listening to my elder brother again talking about how artisanal miners are doing well. I don't want to hear artisanal mining. That shall go. I want to hear mining, not artisanal mining. Every miner should have access to funds to be able to procure equipment to put in their operation. Our housing situation is deplorable. Our national building society is incapable of meeting the need. We shall have another bank for housing development. We are going to open this market to go beyond the traditional commercial banking that we know. We are going to open it to Islamic banking as an alternative model of, because in Islamic banking, they do not charge interest. They participate in your profits. So they take an interest in your business. You do not have that pressure of having to pay back a loan. No, because the bank comes in as your partner and participates in the profit. We are going to encourage fintech companies, financial technology companies that will provide modern tech-driven solutions. This is our approach to ensuring that there is capital for Zambian entrepreneurs. We want to deepen financial inclusion and roll out mobile banking, fintech, and digital payments across the country. Sadly, again, like I said, digital payments are being taxed and being strangled by heavy taxation. Our poor people use mobile money to give each other some money. You go and tax that. You taxing the poorest of the poor. People who will send 10 kwacha, send me 2 kwacha, they send 2 kwacha for somebody. You tax that. If you are transferring even 1 kwacha, between 1 kwacha and 150 kwacha, you pay 35 kwacha. 35 ingwe, rather. Really? And the rates in this budget, the charges in the 2026 budget have been more than. This, you are saying you are encouraging digital payment systems. Yes, but you are killing it. I have been going to Kenya every now and then in the recent past. you won't see somebody counting Kenyan shillings. It is M-Pesa everywhere. Everyone pays by mobile money, and everyone is paid by mobile money. We are going to have access to capital. We will establish a credit guarantee fund for SMEs. We will support venture capital, private equity, and impact investment. And like I said, Islamic banking will come where your investor requires you to allow them to participate in your profits. I have been working as director of Zambian International Trade and Investment Center. Most of the queries that I get from Zambians is to how they can raise capital. We will address that. We have a program for startup businesses. We have a program for startup businesses. We must address Zambia's economic challenges by acknowledging that, in fact, one of our biggest problems has been this persistent dependency on exporting raw materials. We can even export what is called copper concentrate. Copper concentrate? No. How do you know what other elements are in those concentrates? You send them out as though there is gold in there, there is nickel. Wherever they are going, all those shall be separated and they will take value. We have
Thank you very much.
to stop.
Dear viewers, we are hosting Dr. Sebastian Kopulande, the former member of Parliament for Chembe. Is an illustrious businessman and a leader. He's served over 3 presidents in our country. He's now been tasked with his colleagues in the People's Party as leader of the party. Remember, the party was owned by, was formed and pioneered and promoted by our former Minister of Information, Mike Mlongote. And now that vehicle has entrusted the leadership in Dr. Sebastian Kopulande. He's just here outlining some solutions, because it is you, the viewers, that complain that we just bring people that just tabulate the difficulties our people are going through without the solutions. And I'd encourage Dr. Sebastian Kopulande to bring solutions. And that's, I think, what he has endeavored. We are opening phone lines. You can ask him about any sector, any vision. But before I open the phone lines, Dr. Sebastian Kopulande, what is the role of your party with the opposition, the ecosystem of the opposition? Will you interact with the opposition? Will you join any forces in the opposition? Because there is a quest by our people that all of you have brilliant ideas, but can you work together and probably come up with one candidate? Just tell us about your thoughts and the thoughts of the People's Party on this particular matter.
Ambassador, that's a very important point, very important question. This debate has been raging for quite a while now. I believe in the virtues of unity. I believe in the effectiveness of concerted effort. I believe in the benefit of working together. We are facing a monster. We are facing an uphill battle. What we are facing is today a struggle for a second struggle for the second liberation of the republic. 64% poverty levels. 78% poverty levels in the rural areas. We need to rescue our people. We need to rescue our country. And we must put all our efforts together. I have put up my hand so that the Zambian people can have a wider choice as to who the single opposition candidate would be. What I'm saying is, should the opposition agree that we are going to run with a single opposition candidate for the presidency, I want to be one of those that they will look at. So that is our position vis-a-vis opposition unity. We are of opposition unity. We are coming in to help strengthen the unity. We are coming in to help propose solutions. We have wide-ranging solutions for all sectors in this country. We can bring a difference. So we are available for collaboration with other members of the opposition.
Oh, thank you very much. Colleagues, we are opening the phone lines. We are hosting Dr. Sebastian Kopulande, leader of People's Party, and we are hosting him for the second time because at that time we hosted him, he was merely a figure in the opposition, but now he has come as a leader of a political party and he's unveiled the vision that he has for our country. So give us a call, participate in the debate, and let's hear your contributions.
So we urge our citizens that they remain calm. We can see light at the end of the tunnel, and that tunnel is now becoming shorter by the day. As we speak, we now have unprecedented rains in the last maybe 2 decades. And with those rains, yesterday Cabinet was informed that load shedding is likely to begin to diminish by June 2025. This is because the major water catchment areas of northwestern province into the Barotse, plains, and now also the Kafue, flood plains. Water takes 3 months journey to move from Kaleni Hills, from Chavuma, into Victoria Falls, into Kariba. 3 solid months. Water moves very slowly in the plains because it's flat. This water which you see when it rains here in Lusaka, we are going for work at ZNBC. Then you find that water is running fast. It's here in Lusaka.
Thank you very much. The phone lines. Thank you very much. The phone lines are now open. Please let me hear your questions for Dr. Sebastian Kopulande. Caller, tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, and good evening, Doc, and good evening, Ambassador.
Thank
This
you.
is Tirembike Zulu calling from Lusaka.
Thank you. Make your contribution.
I welcome the idea of establishing Exim Bank of Zambia and sourcing of interest-free financing from the Islamic Fund. Yeah, we face a lot of challenges, especially as exporters, whereby you would have the goods, they would have a ready market, say in China, but how you move the goods from Zambia to China, you know, there's a lot of fees to be paid. Now, as locals, we don't have that capacity to finance that. So we end up being exploited by the would-be buyers because they'll set very tough conditions to ensure that they maximize on their profits. So I welcome this idea. My concern, though, is on where Doc talked about doing away with artisanal mining. Yeah, I'm very concerned because usually it's us, the poor people, the poor Zambian people who engage in that artisanal mining because we cannot afford mechanized mining. So what approach is Doc going to use to make sure that the number of those artisanal mining, most of them who don't even have the necessary qualifications, are assimilated into his program? Or is he going to do away completely with these small-scale miners and just come with people at that level can afford mechanized mining? Or is he going to take the approach of what happened in Fumbwe, where the UPND government moved in on those people who were scavenging for gold there? Yeah, your views on that, Doc. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, the calls are coming in. The calls are coming in. Let's hear them. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and you have a question for Dr. Sebastian Kopulande.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. My name is Kefas Mwapemsonda, calling you from Kabwe Central Province, an advocate for industrialization and national development.
What has happened in Kabwe? I hear. What has happened in Kabwe? I hear the permanent secretary has some money that was stolen cash, and it has caused a huge debate in Kabwe that where did the government official get such kind of money?
That's what we also wondering. We've heard through the news, and yes, we were told that between 9 hours and 10 hours yesterday, the permanent secretary's driver went to a car wash where 200,000 kwacha, which others are saying was more than that, was apparently stolen and later on recovered. The questions arising could be that how did the driver leave such exorbitant monies if he was aware that the money was in the vehicle? And secondly, at what time did he discover that the money was not in the vehicle? And how did he know that the exact amount was the 200,000 which was recovered from the car wash premises? So these are questions that I think the investigating wings must investigate and give us feedback as the citizenry. We know that a government worker cannot in any way get such an exorbitant money through a salary. If so, how was the transaction made? Is there legitimate footprints in terms of a withdrawal?
No, my brother, let me not bother you with that story. Please ask your question to Dr. Sebastian Kopulande. I was just, because Kabwe is discussing this matter.
The Honorable Sebastian Kopulande, good evening. And congratulations on your appointment as president for the People's Party. Truly, you are picking up from where Comrade Michael Mlongoti, one of the lumber bulls, left the mantle, that you may continue with it. You've specifically outlined a lot of issues that you feel your party can liberate Zambia economically, physically, as well as spiritually. Now, I've got a little bit of a question, or rather a concern, because we saw that from 2021, when the UPND New Dawn government took over power, we were told that there were empty coffers that they had inherited, number one. Number two, they were running under the Patriot Front financial year, which was the budget that was spanning up to 2020, up to the end of 2021. Now, you've talked about creating more industries. I want to understand, are you going to come up with your own multi-facility economical zones apart from what is already existing? If you will use these facilities that are here, what different business strategies are you going to bring to the fore? Because we know that dominantly, as we speak now, the emphases are occupied by the Chinese investors. And most of the products that are coming in there are coming from China. And even as we talk about finished products, we are lessly using our raw material. How best are you going to revamp the industries countrywide? Secondly, gold is discovered in Mfumbwe, the youths are killed, and then even the people that discover that gold are taught that you cannot go on mining, we need to find investors. Are we going to see or receive the same kind of punishment that the Zambian people have received, those that have discovered something from the government that be when you form government? The last question, Bamwamba, to the president there is, there's a concession that has been signed. Our toll gates have been given to a concessionaire who is working on the Ndola Lusaka dual carriageway. If, for instance, you formed government, how best are you going to handle this issue of PPE that we have seen in this country, and most of the projects given to foreigners rather than the Zambian people taking up the mantle? We wait to see what you can do. And what is it that you as the opposition leaders are failing? Where is the problem? Where are we failing that you can just come together if you feel that the New Dawn government has failed, like it was in 1991 when the people felt that UNIP had failed the Zambian people? They just had to float one presidential candidate. That candidate won an election. In 2011, when people thought the MMD had failed, the people rose from home and supported Mr. Michael Chushasata, may he so rest in peace, and changed government. Just 4 years ago, the people rose from their sleep and voted in the New Dawn government, which has been in power for the last 4 years. What is it that you are giving the Zambian people as hope for the tragedies and the problems that we are faced with? Thank you very much, and continue articulating. Thank you.
Let me take more calls. There are more people calling. Let's take those calls quickly. There are so many calls that are asking. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
And good evening, President Kopulande.
Good evening.
My name is Michael. I'm a young youth following from Lusaka, and I have listened to the vision, and it's quite interesting. But two things. I want the president to elaborate more on how he's going to bring to effect the SME bank that he spoke about. And then secondly is that right now the situation that our country is in needs someone who is experienced and has a track record, because I think one of the reasons why we in this situation that we be in is because of leaders not being able to understand or not having experience. So what experience has he had? I am aware that he was the former member of parliament of Chembe, but what else has he done to prove that if he comes on, if we put him in as a president, he will be able to deliver? I'm asking for a track record, please. Thank you.
Thank you. He has a very distinguished track record. Even Google recognizes that, but he will answer that matter. There are so many calls. Let's just take as many as we can. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
This is Munkonge.
Yes.
Munkonge. Shishima akashitangana akachepa na ngula limbitika kulako.
yola ndeni ama but mwikokola abale tumabengi namumona.
Okay. Awe kwena ba ambassador ine ndelo mbako kuba nesuba opposition bonse aba because I government yoro yaishire mukuteka yali kwete target nomba nicho mulando akwa kwata menzwa yakumwa target number 1 bali ishibwe kwebati fe balere babantu tabakachite. So target number 1 yali yakona all out going government because bali ishibwe kwebati teti wabombi okuchita kompare ne fyale bombaba nawo. So kubike chimfunganya bali outgoing government because the outgoing government ewa ishibwe buna ma checks and balances yakobatira ngunga bali bapere chance norabe katarangwa popo muri bamwamba ngakwali kurara nje fintu fya kwebati ababa government nokurufyanya nte tubarufyanye because ngabale bebo fyo bayishiba. So bali lokona ora opposition ba kubambira kuteka go bakwata yakona ora opposition mumone imwe pako bati mubyoko ni target yakona ora bonse bo bapo kama member of parliament ni target yakona ora nomba inecho njipusha sana kuri ba opposition aba nabo oro bamono kwebati ila opposition bale onaula chimono ko naula echalo nomba again the small oppositions instead bekatani akapi ukuruisha ila party pako bati ona eka because ila party nga yaona eka bonse awo tapali oko bengaya because qualification number 1 bafuire basta graduate kupitira kuri party the big opposition umone fo basta tempa fyafula but inshatara mona pona nguni one day fyo kumona fyati organize different presidents of opposition parties bapera kwa bana abo amano ba PF na bena amano kutia afurungana because attack yaba more than mumone bena barabomsha ba police barabomsha ba court barabomsha machinery yapusana but ba PF tabakwete machinery inga bomba abantu bambi bali mu kifungwa bengafu abambi bali outside nomba ba opposition before tabaraleta manifesto kwera fu barete bafilifye wino mushebena barete ntonkanya poshani because amatezi na achepa ngachakwe bati PF taichitire listo which means I government ikakonkanya po because once wakapura ndibafye wino nomba waite tibachita imba basayinishanya kurangu na ba PF because PF ikweta ama structures countrywide kuri kumbyuko tabomfona ena amafoni bashwa fyatu ba PF bari tsunga wino nomba turepo ka fertilizer pambale ba PF bari wino so bashara fya abantu maruro area nomba ni state bai katani na nabo ba senior opposition pakwe bati aya manifesto yasa gumbera chapa nomba banga bayabeka ze small opposition which means tapali yoko ingaya takuri yoko ingaya chimono ko bati nawo kwata ma qualifications to afa campaign lero nawo kwata pali yako bati mura mu campaign tabale kusuminisha okwingirawo ufuire wabombera pa kwingira mu campaign then urawangira mu campaign oro warubomba ukulingana n'efyo winga bomba ndero mbako bafuye ko ba PF because manifesto yaba UPND ko na ora PF bali shibo fyo bafuire okuyona nomba aba nabo aba small opposition please bafuye ni kwa banenu ngamwa bafuani shine charo mwa chipokorora chisuma mukwaye.
Thank you. There are more calls. Let me just pick these calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening. Thank you, Ambassador. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
I have two things, Ambassador. First is that I sent you a message and you haven't responded. Please kindly respond that message. The second thing is I listened to the debate that the vision sharing that Honorable Kopulande has made. It sounds very interesting, like another caller had observed. But I would like to ask a question concerning there's a question that he was asked when he featured on one of the interview, where he was asked to say if the UPND offered you a position, a ministerial position, or they offered that you work with them, would you accept to work with them? I would like him to give a very convincing answer to that question. The second question I have is that are there timelines to those vision points that he has raised? Like when do we see the introduction of the development bank? When are we going to see the establishment of those SME banks? Do we have a timeline? Does he have a timeline to say, okay, in the first year we are going to establish this a bank, or in the next year we are going to do this? Are there timelines to those visions that he has outlined?
Okay, thank you very
so
much. Thank you. Let's take maybe the last two and allow Dr. Sebastian Kopulande to respond. As you heard in the background, there were a lot of phone calls in the background, but let's see how we can quickly just clear these calls, because the program is made by you, the callers, your attention. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador, and good evening, Dr. Kopulande. My name is Nancy from the Copper Belt.
Thank you, Nancy.
I'm very the issues raised by Dr. Kopulande and the solutions that he's proposing for our economy sound very interesting and very positive. I think it's something that every well-meaning Zambian would support. I am particularly interested in what he talked about in terms of creating these farming blocks to cater for youth unemployment. I would go further to suggest that on that one, you could incorporate all the chiefs in that every chiefdom has such a farming area, so that every part of Zambia feels included in that. If it's rolled down to every chiefdom, it means all our traditional leaders would be on board. Everyone would feel that they are recognized and their plight is being considered, and the government is looking at catering for everyone. Unlike if it's one in every province, there are different chiefs in there. Others may feel certain chiefdoms get favored above others and things like that. So if it's brought down to every chiefdom, it means the development is further decentralized, and more youths would be able to be captured. And then also on the mining sector, I agree with him that, exporting concentrate should not be a welcome situation for us. We should not be promoting that. The removal of the taxes which were on export of concentrate, we should be prohibiting that. We should put in policies that are going to promote value addition and finished products being made just here in Zambia. Our economy needs to grow by value addition to our raw industries. We should not be a raw material exporting nation. We should be having our finished products here and being known for exporting that, rather than always exporting our raw materials and bringing back, importing the finished products. So I'm very happy to hear what you have on the table for us. I would also want to know what you would have in for the Zambians in terms of social security, pensions, like the NAPSA. We have been crying for. We want lump sum benefits. This monthly pension thing just leads us into destitution, because if right now I'm earning a 15,000 kwacha net pay, and then I'm looking at having a monthly pension at retirement of 2,000 kwacha, it means my lifestyle would have been greatly downgraded. So what do you have in store for the Zambians in terms of social security? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy from the Copper Belt. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador, and good evening, Dr. Kopulande. Zephania is my name. I'm calling from Lusaka, Zambia.
Thank you, Zephania.
Well spoken by Comrade Kopulande. My questions I have is that how is he going to prove to the Zambian people that he is being democratic, because he has said he has inherited the People's Party, which was the owner where late Michael Ngongote and others, may their soul rest in peace. According to Article 60, it says that every political party should hold a convention, because he has not mentioned that he's going to have, or when are they going to convention, because he never mentioned in his preamble, so that people should know that this is another democratic party, because we have seen the current regime where the president lost 5 times. He was just unopposed until the 60th times, when they never used to go for convention, until the 60th time when they said if you're not going for convention, they had to go for formality. I think Article 60, it compels a political party to show that this party is democratic by all inclusiveness, because what I am fearing is that I have started seeing a lot of people coming, like Nashala Neka parties. Only interest is to come and save the Zambian people, when they haven't proven to the Zambian people, because Zambian people are looking for a team, not only one person, but a team. Yes, we can have Comrade Kopulande has got a very rich CV, but who will be his vice president, and who are other people? You know, so this is what makes Zambian feel like today, if you have checked, that's why people are still waiting for PF, that PF is the only hope, because PF is well structured. These people who are coming on board, they have no structures. They are only coming to show their face themselves. So that's why you find that the people that are looking like there is no any opposition party, but the only opposition will be PF. It's unfortunate that in PF, the wrangles are still now going deeper and deeper and deeper. I hope one day they'll quickly come to their senses, so that Zambian people can still have hope. The only hope we have is the Patriotic Front to unite, and every political party, they should come together. And Zambian people, I have said it here as I conclude, they have said it here on your EMV. They are saying they want one candidate, and they must work and form the United Front. As long as they continue separating themselves, we are yet to see, they are capable of manipulating the elections. And I know there is a Malawi formula where 17 candidates stood, but only one came. But at the moment, Zambians are not yet satisfied. That's why people, they should come with proper structure, and that's the political party Zambians will follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's allow Dr. Sebastian Kopulande to take on those questions that have come. Dr. Kopulande.
Thank you very much. Mr. Limbike Zulu, am I saying I will do away with artisanal mining? No, that's not exactly what I said. I mean doing away with artisanal mining. Artisanal mining will be there, and it will continue to be there. What I'm saying is to give opportunity to those that are doing artisanal mining to upgrade by ensuring that we have a mining development bank that will provide the capital needed to upgrade, to acquire the necessary machinery and equipment to do what is needed to grow the mining enterprise. Mr. Kefas Mwape Musonda, how are you going to industrialize the country? We have a very clear industrialization strategy. We are going to adopt an import substitution strategy and an export-led industrialization strategy going side by side. By an import substitution strategy, it means we are going to encourage establishment of industries that are going to produce those products that we import most. So that is import substitution. Export-led industrialization means we are going to make sure that our Zambian grow their industries to be able to produce for export. Mind you, Zambia is a signatory to the African Continental Free Trade Area protocols. That means we have a whole market, the continent of Africa, 1.3 billion people. That is a market for us. Now, a market only saves the one who sells on it. That's the biggest beneficiary from a market. Otherwise, you are simply a consumer, a receiver. We want to go away from that approach. Now, how are we going to industrialize? One key program that we have is, like I said, we will establish multi-facility economic zones in all provinces. Why? Because each province has got its natural resources. You will recall, during the post-independence government era, we had, in Northwestern Province, we had Mwinilunga Cannery. In Eastern Province, we had the bicycle manufacturing. In Luapula Province, in Mansa, we had Mansa Battery. So each province had an anchor industry. And this is what we are going to do. And how are we going to do it? We are going to make use of an institution that already exists, but we are going to reorientate it, reorganize it. This is the Industrial Development Corporation.
Just a minute. Mr. President, just a minute. Let me take the last call because I saw this caller had been trying to call, but they've called. So let me see if we can take the call and, okay. I guess it got cut. Please proceed, Mr. President.
Yes, we're going to reorientate the Industrial Development Corporation because the Industrial Development Corporation, the purpose for which it was established, and I can say this, I had long discussions with President Sata over the establishment of the Industrial Development Corporation. Mind you, I was his permanent secretary, and we were therefore very close. President Sata consulted me extensively, although I did not hold a position, a formal position in his government. But he consulted me extensively on a lot of issues, especially to do with economics. So the Industrial Development Corporation was intended to be the pathfinder investment organization. That means its job was to open up new industries where the private sector could not because of infrastructural challenges. So the IDC will therefore be mandated to undertake research in every province, establish, do feasibility studies, establish which sector can perform effectively in that province, and make an investment for that province. The purpose of that is to open up provinces to industrialization. And once that is done, then IDC will grow that company up to a certain level where it will then be used as a tool for empowerment by floating shares on the stock market, where Zambians can then buy stocks, can buy shares. So we shall use industrialization both as a creator of jobs in rural areas, as well as a tool for economic empowerment for Zambians. So IDC will take an invest-divest approach through the stock market, liquidate or liquidate their share in particular corporations and maintain a minority position so that the majority position goes to ordinary Zambians. Okay, that is how we are going to industrialize. And where we put up what I'm calling the youth farm blocks, we shall create value addition opportunities right there. That is part of our industrialization strategy. He commented on Mufumbwe killing. I feel very bad to imagine that today, in this republic, today in Zambia, the forebearer of democratization on the continent of Africa, can have its people, its youth, killed brutally by a force whose mandate is to protect them. Why do we have to do that? I feel saddened. And let me take this opportunity to pass my condolences to all those in Mufumbwe, in Northwestern, who have lost their children, who have lost their husband, who have lost their grandchildren. Kindly accept my condolences. That show of brutality is not Zambian. That show of brutality is not Zambian, and it is sad that it could happen in our country, in our Christian nation. The toll gates in Ndola Lusaka dual carriageway given away to a foreigner. My brother, that deal is a very strange deal. You take your people's money, nab some money, somewhere about $600 million. Okay, take that money, give it to a foreign contractor, to a foreign consortium, so that they can collect toll fees on that for 25 years. Why couldn't NAPSA invest directly in that project without going through a third party? And NAPSA has done that before. Why did we have to have a middleman? Why didn't NAPSA invest, go and get the same Chinese company to do the building of the road, pay them the cost of the contract, pay them for their service? Why do they have to be the ones to collect the toll fees for 25 years? And why on earth do you give them the targets to start collecting money before even the job finishes? I have questions. I don't know. Someone will be kind enough to give us an answer. Dr. Kopulande, what experience do you have to think that you can be president? 31 years in public service, started in politics as campaign manager for then Vice President Levi Mwanawasa in 1991. He was elected. I went into government. On 7th November 1991, President Chiluba appointed all his cabinet ministers, including the vice president, provincial ministers, deputy ministers, were all appointed on 7th November 1991. On that date, President Chiluba appointed one civil servant, and that happened to be myself, as senior private secretary to the vice president. and I became immediately the assistant to Vice President Levi Mwanawasa. From there, I was moved to the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry as director, and I was given a 2-year program, 2-year mandate to come up with policy to liberalize the economy of Zambia. That was it was one of my best times that I worked in government. In fact, my best time in government was at the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, where Deepak Patel, very practical, very progressive, was my minister. Hence, we achieved big milestones because I had a minister that understood. I had a minister who challenged me. I had a minister in Deepak Patel that understood what the mandate of the Ministry of Commerce was, understood that actually the economy actually sits in the Ministry of Commerce, nowhere else. Because whatever you produce has to be traded, and the job of trading is the Ministry of Commerce, trade. From there, President Chiluba transferred me and made me permanent secretary for the Minister without Portfolio, who was then President Michael Chilufya-Sata. He was appointed Minister without Portfolio on 29th May 1995, and I was appointed permanent secretary Minister without Portfolio on 30th May 1995, and there was no office. So I had the responsibility to establish a new ministry altogether. There had been a minister without portfolio before, but the ministry had been closed literally. I inherited not one file. I started a ministry from scratch with President Michael Sata. After I pushed the re-election of President Chiluba in 1996, in 1997 he transferred me to the State House as Comptroller and Permanent Secretary. I was in charge of the running of State House, the whole administration of State House. After that, President Levi Mwanawasa became president. Remember, he was vice president. Now he becomes president in 2002, at the very beginning of 2002. He calls me back to State House as Special Assistant, Special Duties. And part of my job then was to write his speeches. And as a presidential speech writer, one of your biggest jobs, one of your biggest responsibilities is to develop new policy. Because whatever the president says, this I was taught by then Secretary to the Cabinet, Mr. Leslie Mbula. He told me, Sebastian, if you're writing the president's speech, whatever the president says is government policy. So you have to be careful what you write for him. And that gave me good grounding. So I wrote President Levi Mwanawasa's speeches up to the last speech he delivered in 2008 when he addressed the Catholic bishops from Messiah countries. That's a man I worked with. That's a man I learned what the presidency is about, how to run the president, how to save your beyond the call of duty. During my time in the government, I worked on establishing several institutions. Institutions such as the Zambia Development Agency, again, Deepak Patel, progressive minister. We got it done. I worked on establishing the Mount Facility Economic Zone. We set up a team which comprised my colleagues, my friends, one of them, Elias Impondela, Joe Salas, Siska, who was ZRA Commissioner General, who was Johnson Chizinga. These were colleagues that we sat as a team and came up and developed the full policy on Mount Facility Economic Zones. And beyond that, when President Mwanawasa was satisfied, he called a special cabinet meeting. And interesting, the day before the cabinet meeting, I called the president. Mr. President, are you ready for tomorrow's meeting? He said, ready for what? I said, but you are making the presentation. It's your cabinet memorandum that will be under discussion. He says, no. Instead, I will ask you, are you ready? I said, no, President. Yes, you are making the presentation. I said, Mr. President, I cannot make a presentation to full cabinet when I'm not a member. I only sit with you as support. He says, no, I've already cleared you. We secretary to the cabinet. Tomorrow you are making the presentation. And I made the presentation to full cabinet sitting with the president in the chair, special cabinet. And the Mount Facility Economic Zone was adopted after my presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, you know, I will encourage our dear callers and viewers to watch the earlier program where we spend time to profile Dr. Kopulande. He has massive experience. For the callers that keep on calling, I'm so sorry. I think we ran out of time, and thank you for your calls. We were hosting Dr. Sebastian Kopulande, leader of the People's Party. There was that question as you begin to say your last remarks, Dr. Kopulande, that how did you become president? Are you inclusive? Are you democratic? You know, the Constitution is calling on not just democracy in our political space, but also within our political space. Maybe as you begin to give your last remarks, attend to that. To all of you, dear viewers, thank you for your contribution. Like I said, the callers that keep on calling, you can just go on our pages and make your comments. Some comments, Dr. Kopulande can respond. Others I can respond. Dr. Kopulande, please give us your last remarks and answer that question on the intra-democracy of your political party. Do you have a team?
Yes, there is a team. In fact, at the beginning of this year, on 4th March, a virtual conference was held to elect a leadership that will mobilize into next year. A full convention will be held before May next year, after we have mobilized the membership. A full convention will be held in May. Before May, sorry. It could be earlier, it could be around there, but that is the target. Am I supposed to make my last comments,
remarks,
Ambassador?
Yes, thank you. Help us close the program with your message of hope to the Zambians in light of the crisis that we have. Your message of sorry, our dear sister still thinks she should say something to you. Just hold on. Maybe you can incorporate her in your last remarks. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and make your quick contribution. As you've seen, we have closed, but you are a regular caller and you might have something to say to Dr. Kopulande.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba and also Dr. Kopulande. Yes, yeah, I'm calling from the other side of the world. I'll try to remain anonymous.
Thank you.
Therefore, your kulanda kwechintu chikankala. I've got only one request. Zambians, including myself, we have been so much attentive, listening to your platform, listening to all your guests, and also from other platforms. And we know very well that our current government doesn't mean well for Zambia. And the problem is just one. All your guests who have been actually featuring on your platforms, they have always tried to talk about the same problem, which I'll just put it as one problem, that is Zambia isn't doing very well today. The question that I have, not even the question, just the request that I have, Delomba, kuli mwe bafyashi lesu, wonse mwe besa, na tumfu amadandaulo yenu, lelo. Tukwate kofi omuntu fe umo waluse, wakutilaka tuwale Zambia pantanshi. Waluse, fyonse na tatu fyumfwa. Kuno kondine, na abakuchalo chabene, na isa mukubomba. Ukupipama fimufipatala, ukutindisha bablulu bandi. Twachula, twamipapata, bonse mweba leisa, twalimichindi kalelo. Uluse fyo uluse, mukutukwatili oluse. Fyonse fomule tuemba, fika chitike, twamipapata. Tufumbeka kuno kufyalo fyabene twaisa, twachula ukupipama mufipatala, ukupyanga mayanda. Yabantu ababenya abasungo bwendala mashisa kuno futi tulekonga tulisa mkulase ngenda mu kutule bisha ba blurves mashu inkweta ya ene tata shirepitida na patani.
Thank you.
Please,
thank you very
I
much.
Thank you. I'm on my knees. Natotera.
You've heard the cry of a mother in the diaspora, and I think it was okay that I could allow her, even if it was out of time. So incorporate all these views. Give our people hope. Our people are hopelessly living in a hopeless situation, both local and international. And they're looking up to our leadership. And sometimes they don't think that we the leaders, have grappled the seriousness of the crisis that our country faces. Thank you.
Ambassador, thank you so very much. Maybe let me start with my good lady. She is in the diaspora. And I can proudly say that in our manifesto, we have a chapter on diaspora engagement. This means we are going to have specific roles that the diaspora are going to play. Some have left this country basically to run away from the harsh economic conditions. We are going to create an environment where the diaspora may wish to come back if they do. Otherwise, we'll create channels for investment for them to invest back home so that whenever they want to come back, they can come back and live in comfort. In the meantime, we are going to create a system where our diaspora will take part in whatever is happening here, including an institution that will look after the affairs of the diaspora within country. We are not going to ignore the diaspora. The diaspora is an economic force. It's a powerful economic force which we want to harness for the benefit of the Zambian people. Many people in the diaspora have been crooked out of by their relatives and all that, to who they keep sending money to make investments. They build houses. This gentleman goes, takes pictures of other people's houses he's sending back. When she comes to see the actual house, she finds nothing. Not even a foundation. But money have been sent. We are going to create an arrangement that will protect our people in the diaspora against that kind of exploitation. Ambassador, the bedrock of our policy, the bedrock of our policy is economic empowerment. That is where we feel that our focus must be as a matter of priority. Our policy objectives for citizen empowerment is promote broad-based citizen ownership in all key economic sectors. It's to empower our women, youth, and persons with disabilities. It's to reverse capital flights by encouraging local wealth retention, to drive entrepreneurship, innovation, and self-reliance, reduce inequality, poverty, and external economic dependence. And we are going, for the purpose of this, reorganize the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission into a Citizens Economic Empowerment Authority that will have wide responsibilities, including finance, policy advocacy, capacity building, market development, infrastructure support, policy monitoring, and evaluation. The diaspora can take advantage of this. We are going to make sure that the Citizens Economic Empowerment Authority has an empowerment fund under the SME Bank, which will simply be focused on empowering Zambians. We are going to implement preferential procurement and the local content laws. We shall reserve a minimum of 30% of all government contracts and all government procurement to citizen-owned companies. And we will enforce local sourcing and employment through updated procurement laws. This is our commitment. We are going to take affirmative action and business reservations so that certain types of businesses are reserved for Zambians. If you go to Botswana, you can learn about that. We are going to promote joint venture, joint of companies between foreign investors and the local entrepreneurs. And we are going to give incentives to any foreigner that partners with the Zambian. Our fiscal incentives, depending on the extent of Zambian ownership, that we shall reward promotion of local ownership. That is the bedrock of our policy. My fellow Zambians, we are not where we intended to be in 2021 when we made the choices we made. We'll know why. Experience is experience in any work, in any job, is essential. You cannot just take anybody and give them the responsibility of superintending over your national treasury, superintending over your lives. You hand over your lives and the lives of your children and their grandchildren into inexperienced hands. What are we doing? My fellow Zambians, governing a country is not common sense. It comes with experience. It comes with knowledge. Are we going to make another mistake this time of putting another person in office who will spend the first 3 years learning the job and the time has gone? Spend that time fixing those that fixed him? Why don't you get somebody this time who will land knowing where to start from? Because they have been there 31 years. I offer myself solemnly to serve the people. I may be disabled by accident of nature. But are we going to forgo the other qualifications and experience? No. There is no substitute to experience in government. Therefore, the choice is ours, to sink or to swim. What I've given you tonight is just a tip of the iceberg of our program. Our program is big and wide, 312 pages of solutions to Zambia's problems. These are practical solutions. When we talk about establishing banks, yes, we even know how to finance those banks. When we're talking about stabilizing the kwacha, we know what to do. We shall peg the kwacha to the value of the gold, to the value of gold. And we shall keep our kwacha stable and stop the volatile fluctuation of our currency. That will manage the cost of living. We shall issue a stable coin, gold back, so that we can have a payment mechanism for our international trade, where our reliance on other currencies will be reduced. I'm offering myself, not for my own sake. I'm offering myself for the country that has created so much for me. It's time for me to pay back. And I ask you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much
for your support.
Kopulande. To our dear viewers, we are very grateful that you participated in this program, and we are grateful for your contributions and your phone calls to Dr. Sebastian Kopulande. Thank you for spending so much time and for articulating the issues in our country. We wish you well in your endeavors, in your new political party, the People's Party, your participation with the opposition, and your intention to run for president. Hopefully that your colleagues in the opposition will welcome that idea and be among those that should be, elected. And to our dear viewers and your concerns around teams, around single candidates, I think our leaders have gotten the message and they've gotten the agency of the matter. Whichever way it pans out, all of us are committed to this country. So Dr. Sebastian Kopulande, thank you very much. To our team in Lusaka, thank you for your sacrifice and for staying this long. God bless you. Until we have another broadcast, we have several leaders that have been lined up in the opposition, and we will see you soon. So, Dr. Kopulande, thank you very much.
The Zambia Police Service has noted with grave concern a Facebook post circulating on a page purporting to represent the Patriotic Front, PF, titled PF to begin countrywide demonstrations until state gives back PF. Demo starting at Robert Chavinga's house. The content of this page has repeatedly carried statements that border on incitement to lawlessness and the commission of public disorder. As Inspector General of Police, I wish to inform the public that the Zambia Police Service is closely monitoring this page. Its administrators and all individuals involved in creating, sharing, and amplifying